open the Rules and Legislative Committee. All the members are present and accounted for, and if you don't mind, John Carney, would you say the prayer?
Almighty God, we thank you for this time of deliberation and discussion. We ask that it would be beneficial, be civil, we pray for this community. Simply ask you.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is approval of March 21st, 2023 Rules and Legislative Committee minutes. And of course, the ones that were sent was lacking a page, and they were reissued, and so that's the ones we're approving. The full minutes that were sent.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The next item is consideration of placing the April 11th, 2023 Commission minutes on the May 9th, 2023 County Commission agenda.
Make a motion, we place those on the commission agenda without a recommendation.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next item is consideration of placing the notary applicants on the May 9th, 2023 County Commission agenda as requested by County Clerk Donna Thomas.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The Veterans Report for March was in our packet. There were 66 veterans that were transported to the VA hospitals, and there were 82 visits. So it looks like it's picked up, I think. And he said he was going to go on to a meeting, and Mike Bruce may be out. He's not here to give us any other update, but is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
There's a second. Any questions? Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The next is a clinic report. The medical side, they saw 117 patients. On the dental side, I think they saw 42 patients. And again, it's the same volunteer doctors that are doing it, Dr. Lula and Dr. Talbot, the physician volunteers, and Dr. Gray's a dental volunteer. Of course, this is just for our own information. Oh, great.
In September, so if anybody's interested, we're going to sell tickets for it. It'll be a fundraiser.
Did you say September?
September the 9th.
20 years, wow. That's
I know, it
always
don't
been that
seem like
long.
it's been that long.
No. It shocked me. Yeah, I think it's just for our information, then. We don't prove that, do we?
No.
Benny?
No.
Okay, the ag report, I think we had an ag center from February. You may have met probably met again since then.
Yeah.
You can bring us on up with the April meeting?
Basically, where we're at is we are getting the lights in building 2. We're halfway finished with them, getting those LEDs in there. That's gonna be really, really nice. So that's already going. I think it's almost finished, actually. So that's gonna be a nice addition out there when we get that finished.
Did you have new members this month?
The mayor's gonna put it up.
Oh, okay.
And we've got 2 retiring, so I've sent to the mayor a request to
Okay,
put some people on here. I had 2 get off. One of them was Sam Jacobs.
Sam.
He left Shelby Police Department. And also had Mr. Robert Johnson, also retired. So there'll be 3 coming forward to be off the next meeting. And we'll get the board finished that way. But I thank the guys in the minutes here. And I want to thank all these boards out here. It is so hard anymore to get people to serve on these. It is difficult. People want to know what's it pay. Well, it doesn't pay anything. And I just want to thank my guys and all the people out there that serve on these boards, because without these boards are so helpful to us. And thank everybody that serves on them. And the problem is, a lot of people are getting older and they're getting off the boards. And getting young people involved seems to be something that's hard to do. But thank you to everyone who serves on these boards.
Robert or George?
Robert Johnson.
Okay, it's got George,
I'm sorry.
but it's Robert. Okay.
Yes, it's Robert Johnson, Michael, my secretary, it's not George.
Okay.
George is still in there with Robert.
Okay, okay. But
Robert's retired from everything, just like Sam. When you retire, you want to kind of get off stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
What district? What was his name? Ray Roberts? Could you text me his phone number at some point, and I'll give him a call? I might have another one here soon, I don't know yet. I hope not, 'cause it's hard to fill these
Dropping
things.
like flies there, Bill.
I'm telling, well, it's just, they've been on there a while, and they just decide that, And another thing that was tough on all these boards, when COVID happened and you didn't have to go to the meeting, a lot of people got used to, I don't have to go to the meeting anymore, because I've been on there a long time and used to, I've never had a problem getting a quorum until COVID, and then since COVID, it becomes, well, I can skip it this month. Well, that's just changed things, and again, I want to thank everybody on these boards, because it's very helpful, and my guys especially, and I thank them at this meeting for it as well.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the report.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Very good. Okay, the next item is the Joint Homeless Task Force agenda, and minutes were enclosed, and Commissioner Cooker?
Yes, sir, and thank you for that. I'm just been very excited at the progress we've been able to make at the Joint Task Force. Last meeting, the minutes will be coming next month in your packet. But basically what we talked about at that last meeting was starting the process of working with the community clinic, working with two nonprofits, the Healing Trust and also Family and Children's Services out of Nashville, to look at creating a situational crisis center or a central hub for these nonprofits across the city. We have a meeting next month scheduled with all those groups, along with the mayor, to be able to sit down and come up with a process of how we're going to be able to put that together. I think it's great steps to be able to have a safety net for all of these individuals that are homeless in our community, as well as the poverty stricken. It really gives them a resource center to be able to do that. One of the things we identified that a lot of these homeless don't have is addresses. And so because of that, they can't get their benefit checks. And so this center would help them get a place for them to be able to do their homeless, or their veterans benefits or unemployment benefits, or those type of things, to be able to start the process of getting them transition. The other thing that we're working on as well is we're working on some language to be able to present to both this committee as well as the city council. That would be an ordinance with anti-loitering and anti-camping. It's going along with several ordinances that come from the West Coast. We're looking at some of the language in those. Basically, what we're going to be doing is just making recommendations of some parameters that would be nice, and then allow both county attorney and city attorney to review that, to be able to come up with maybe some ordinances. We've also found some cities that are your local, Athens, Tennessee, as well as Hendersonville, have also drafted some things that are similar to that, that will be presented to both groups as well. So hopefully that will be coming next month. So we're very excited at the progress we're making, and just very excited at the group and what they've done. Most of them have attended most every meeting, and just the conversation, the group input from the community. We're having about 30 to 35 members of the community in there as well. And just the overall conversation, you can tell it's a hot button issue, but more importantly, it's an issue that everybody sees something that we can get to a resolution at some point, or at least work towards that. And so I'm very excited with the group, and thank y'all for letting us go forward with it.
One question, we don't do ordinance in the county, we do resolutions. The city would do the ordinance, so make sure when you have that discussion, make sure the defining difference is there, so it applies in equal portion there.
Absolutely, and we're really not making a specific recommendation, we're just wanting to give parameters, and we'll let
Got it.
the county attorney come up with the right language.
Got it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or discussion? Place will come to fruition, at least we're talking about it, discussing it, and trying to resolve some issues, and they're not easily done either, as we've already found out. Okay, you don't have to prove that, do we? It's just for our own information.
Yes, I think you're correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, under old business, a resolution to amend the zoning resolution of Bedford County, Tennessee. It's been deferred for 2 or 3 months, I think.
Yep.
Still in that situation, isn't it?
Yep.
Commissioner Anderson,
Correct.
so we just
Defer
gonna,
it again.
Yep.
okay, so is it motion
Yeah,
deferred?
motion to defer.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, new business, there's been a request, for a distance road reconsideration. Bedford Market, Sun Chasers Market, and Hall's Mill Market have submitted a petition to support, their request to change the distances to sell beer in the county to 0 feet. The petition states Bedford County currently does not allow any businesses within 2,000 feet of a church, school, or public gathering place to sell beer. To compete and thrive in the community retail hubs, we would like the county commission to change the current statute to match that supported in the city of Shelbyville. The petitioners further state this change would provide additional tax revenue for the county through both retail and tourism growth and demonstrates support for local small businesses and community hubs by allowing them to compete.
I think, Ms. Strossner, would you like, you want to speak on that? If that's okay with you, Mr. Chairman?
No, that'd be fine. If y'all want to speak first, we'll.
So thank you again for the consideration on this. I know it's been something that you guys have been talking about. I did a quick handout. I apologize. I did not bring enough Walker County commissioners. I did not realize we would have such a outstanding turnout tonight. I'm going to walk you guys through a couple of things. My tagline tonight, or our tagline as a group, is really enable us to compete and contribute.
You want to pass it
Kind of guys.
Yeah, we'll share.
So I'm going to say a couple words and I'm going to turn it over to the other two businesses here. And it's not that much different than what I said last time. As a small business, it's really hard to do business these days. And I had numerous people come up to us after the last meeting and say, hey, it's not just about the rural communities. If you look up in the square, we've had several people kind of flip businesses too. It's really hard for anyone who's trying to stay in business right now. So no one's looking at small businesses. A lot of the work that I think we're doing between the partnership and other areas are looking at bringing big business in. So here's an opportunity for you guys to help support the small businesses in the area. And protect and support the rural hub. We hear rural, rural, rural every time we're talking about the land use plan, anything that's coming with planning and zoning. How do we keep rural, rural? And one of the ways to make sure rural small businesses can stay there and compete. And I call that out because I've seen the growth happening around us in several areas of regional, right by Halls Mill, all the new houses that are going out there. There's new people that can kind of infuse new life into the market, into these areas. But we have to be able to support them in the lifestyle that they're used to when they're coming from some of the other communities. So help us compete. And my last part is contribute. If we think about everything that's been going on about property taxes versus real tax, we have an opportunity here where if you let us do our business, we can help contribute to the county revenue line, or the county income line. And so I did a quick example for what happens in Sun Chaser, right? So today, if someone wants to come through, they're probably going to go pick up 2 sandwiches, bag of ice, maybe a big bag of chips, which is up to $5 these days. And if they bought a 12-pack of beer, they're probably going to spend about $36 with us. That was my first one test for those of you who haven't known. So that's $36. $3.51 would go to sales tax. A lot of that comes into the county, some percentage of it, some of it goes to schools. But when you actually remove that, if we can't sell the 12-pack of beer with it, that sale in my store goes over to county line. All that sales tax goes into Moore County. Not only sales tax, but the beer tax. So it's just walking out of the county and being somewhere else. So that's where I think if we had the opportunity to sell beer, we would contribute more. I tried to do some rough math. I did one of those a day. If I had one sale like that a day, I would say, it's not a lot, but it's $87 a month. $87 a month, it would be, if I did it for a whole year, it's another $1,000 a month, which is potentially helpful. If you do 5, right, you guys are, some of the commissioners are worried that we're going to sell a lot, right? It'll be the beer joints. If you did only 5, just 5 in a month, that gets you up to $5,000. We start contributing and adding into what would be chipping away at property taxes, chipping away at sales tax. The other thing I did was when you look at beer tax, I reached out to one of the local distributors who actually supports Brass Market. And I gave them the 6 addresses that we don't see on the handout. I said, hey, just do some market analysis for me. If you were to go in and start selling your product in these areas, what do you think the value would be? They came back and they estimated that they would probably each grow at $10,000 to $15,000
issue that some will have in your area, was like the concerts, the entertainment, not just beer sales, but some of that, is your church right there close to you. Are you still a go for that? Because it's, they'll show up. And they'll be against beer sales. And I know that was a pretty hot topic whenever, right there across the street, you have the entertainment, and you got the church right here. Whereas like Chuck at Hall's Mill, I've talked to a lot of folks out there, they can care less. So I think Hall's Mill, Bedford Market, would pretty much be non-controversial, but you get this Church of Christ, with Sun Chasers, that's probably where the conviction's gonna be.
I would encourage, if we think that it's my district, my area, that we do something and try to get that feedback.
Right.
I hear all the
We'll get that feedback.
I hear all the time when people come in that it's changing, people are more accepting of it,
Right.
right? And we're in a weirdly interesting, in the world right now, right? Where things are changing.
You know, that it was a touchy spot.
I agree, and I will also say, we had several, there was a meeting before the one that was a beer meeting. We had several people who were leaders in the community show up.
Right.
So the timing was, we had them show up on our behalf beforehand, not the public
Right.
meeting, I think they were showing again.
Well, I hope so. That group is gonna, they're not gonna stop.
Yeah.
That's your group. Now, Chuck out here, they would love for you guys to stay there.
And I appreciate the fact that you're saying that, bringing that up so that we know how to kind of.
Because it will be geographical, and it's like, well, I'm pairing this with this, of course, you can't do Hall's Mill, Bedford Market, and not Sun Chasing. That's not fair.
Right.
And I have some good ideas, but I think that's still going to be controversial with that
I
church.
think January is gonna be
Yeah.
but yeah. But we
Just a heads
heard-
up. Oh,
no, we
they're
heard
coming.
people
They're
say that they would support us, and depending on how you guys approach, go through this, we'll make that happen at that time.
Mr. Chairman. Just some questions of clarity. So it states church, school, or public gatherings, those three locations that it restricts. Is there any ability to remove one or the other, or is it this or no?
Here's what you got. In 1933, they passed this bill during the middle of Prohibition. And it basically says you couldn't sell beer for 3 miles. Then they modified it in 1951. And then in 1962 or so, they came back and said, well, you counties can set the beer distance. If you decide not to set the distance to sell beer, you will automatically revert to 2,000 feet. In 1984, July 7th, 1984, this commission approved accepting the 2,000-foot rule. It has been in existence since 1984 for Bedford County. So what we have to do, and I don't mean to jump on this, is this commission has to sit down and have this discussion. And we have to decide, what do we want to do on this? Leave it the same, don't do anything, make it 0, make it 50 feet, 300 feet, whatever. So what I was going to suggest, if it's okay, Mr. Chairman, with you, I'm going to suggest that we come back next month. And when we come back next month, all 3 applicants need to go see Chris White back there and tell us exactly how much distance you're going to need that meets the criteria there. So is it 100 feet from the church or public school or gathering spot? Is it 300 feet, whatever? So we know what 3 of them. And then, Chris, if you would come in next month and kind of explain to us how that historic village concept works, does this fit into that zoning category with anything? And then help us understand the planning tools we already have adopted that handle beer joints, because that's, Troy just Mr. Thompson hit the nail on the head with that. People don't really have that much concern to take out. What they got a problem with is everybody sitting there and drinking beer. So if we've got a tool in planning, will you bring that to us next month, Mr. White? And then let's ask the chairman of the beer board. I know you've weighed in heavily and we really need your input, but I think is Lisa Carden the chairman? Maybe we invite Lisa to come in here so she can address questions Commissioner Hooker have or anybody else has on that. And then if you will give us some kind of economic impact. This is a good start. Call the Malt Beverage Association. They will tell us exactly what the beer sales are in Bedford County and in surrounding counties. That'll kind of give us an idea.
If someone can help me frame what they want in that
Okay.
question, I'd be happy to take that.
Okay. So,
And from everybody I've talked to, they all want to just sell it to go. Nobody's trying to serve it, the people that I've talked to, but, does that, if they check the blank, does that give them permission to do both?
and that's what Commissioner Thompson was explaining. When you check the box, you get both in there. It's
Right.
not a onesie-twosie. If the legislature would make the change, and that's our problem, but they're not going to do that. So if you get a permit to sell, you also have the ability to consume. Now,
As long as you check that box,
Well,
on your permit.
check the box on your product. So Kroger's doesn't want anybody drinking beer in there, they sell it to go. Dollar General doesn't want anybody
Right.
there, they sell it to go. They don't exercise that option, but the option would be there should they choose that, if they check the box in the application. So I think that we, as a commission, and I think the chairman has made it clear over the 5 years I've been on here, that we're not gonna move in a hurry on stuff. We're gonna let everybody talk, let everybody weigh in, let everybody have an opinion. So I don't think we're slowing it down. We're just trying to get everybody involved with this whole process. So that's, if that's okay with it, okay.
So I do want to answer your question because I did reach out to CPAC. And so I would love for someone to double check. You can just, if the intent would be to protect schools, you can go in and say, hey, drop church, or drop that resolution and institute a new resolution that just does public domain. You can do that. You guys as a commission have the opportunity to do that, to change the amendment the way you want. My second comment is, when I would look at the state legislature, I heard that comment about the beer and the checkbox, I took a look at it. I believe in June or July, whenever they're gonna go for it, they're gonna make all the takeout places were free from COVID, that they could sell to go. That'll be legal now. COVID's gone, but that'll be a legal sale. So now you have even more, no offense fighting against us, because anyone can go to a restaurant in town and get a go Copa or margarita, and we still can't compete in that space, and we're trying to sell meals as well. That's just my other anecdotal
So
comment.
you did hear from CTAS that we did separate out those two?
So, yeah.
Not the two applications, you're
Not
talking
the two
about
No, I'm
applications.
talking about
You could-
schools.
schools.
But we
and
could
churches.
drop the
We-
schools.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Again, I would encourage someone to check.
And that's the
my work.
concerns I get from
I
my
get it.
constituents is even less about churches, more about the
School.
schools. So that's a question that we need to talk
Yeah.
about.
And this potential new location here at 170 Bell Buckle Road would be right in front of Cascade Elementary School, correct? Now, I remember when he went for the zoning, we all told him, just know you can't sell beer,
Yeah.
there's a school.
And that's why I put these three on, because I.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
But for the three that I know, if these are the, I think there's one more in Unionville, and I don't know what location it
Yeah.
is. That
Okay.
may be in this scope of work anyway.
Well, I thank you for putting that on there, I'm thinking about that one as well.
I have a class, what is other public places in this quote?
They define, this, the legislature defines that. They've even tried to say that cemeteries could be a public gathering place, and it could be baptismal pools, but
However, that's why I think you guys have so much latitude to address that with zoning too. Between the combination of what you're doing in those areas and whatever you want to be more specific about with the next round of the language, you can.
I've got the CTAS report here on what we can and can't do. And I have also, I made a copy of our resolution that we had for our historic zoning, historic villages concept. But I think, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we just move this to next month in hopes that they will bring all this information in here, and so we can have it, and we're gonna discuss it next month. And I think next month, that will give us sufficient time to have had last month, this month, that's 90 days worth of discussion on this. If people have got any more questions, and if anybody's got, if we can do that, I think that gives us sufficient time having discussed this before we make a decision to send it to the commissioner.
My only, and I love the approach, and I do want to give these other folks an opportunity to speak, would be, I think you're setting that up for the June meeting, which will be your commission meeting in October. And just knowing what everything is going on, is that the right timing for it? That's my only, after being through the process, that's a lot for you guys to
Anybody else want to speak on that? We'll decide when we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to speak?
We need to find out what business we each need. Everybody's different. So that's why we're asking for feedback.
You want us to just, you want to know exactly the distance between the church, like for all, no, would you like us to
Yes.
come back and say
Yep.
this is how many exact?
Exactly.
or-
Mr. White's office can prepare that, so that we know what Mr. White's office has said, and not what everybody else thinks, so we got an official instrument here that gives us that distance. That'll help us as we,
Measuring from.
well, Mr. White can tell you that,
Well, normally we need to do building, but, based on the observation of Black Creek and all that, I don't know that, any distance would make much sense because, they're so close, they're so close, I mean, what would be the point of setting it at 6 feet?
Right.
Not really solving any problems there. I think the actual verbiage in the state law is making it public assembly. So I think the way you can interpolate that would be places where people would actually assemble for some purpose, not necessarily places where people would gather. I'm pretty sure that's the verbiage.
Public gatherings. I'm fixing to read it. That's true. Anyone else like to
We're just
speak?
asking for a fair thing.
Sure.
That's all. We're not trying to.
Well, we all want you to compete, and we all want you to be a tribute to your community, but this issue's pretty big. It's a little bit bigger than that. Anybody else like to speak in the audience? Hey, we've discussed this several times. Last time was November of 2020, when it came up. Again, we'll read. It's Tennessee Code Annotated 57-5-105, and you can look it up. It's Tennessee Code Annotated in a lot of places, and there's a lot of areas. There's 3, as it says, but I'm gonna go on down to number 1, and you can read it all. I'm just gonna read what basically we apply. No beer will be sold except at places where such sale will not cause congestion of traffic. So there could be a traffic issue in any of those places. I know there is. If there's not much parking, and you got a major highway running by, and they're going 55 miles an hour or 45, then that's a consideration, safety. Or interference with schools, churches, other places of public gathering. Now that lends itself, and we've already questioned that. What does that mean, public gatherings? Does that mean when they go to the post office to gather their mail? Is that a public gathering? I don't think so, but I don't know. Of course, as Commissioner Yaki said, I think it's certainly community centers and maybe some more places in rural areas that meet could come under gathering places. I know at Black Creek, they have a community center there, and they meet every month. It's a big shindig out there. It's a good thing. Or otherwise interfere. This goes further. Public safety, public health, and morals. And we haven't mentioned any of those yet. It also deals with, this statute deals with public health, safety, and morals. So churches do have a stance here. The county legislative body having the right to forbid such storage, sale, or manufacture at places within 2,000 feet, which that's extreme of such places of public gatherings in its discretion. And it goes on, and that's not all of it. Now, I had one of my real estate friends pull up the markets, so I've already got written down, and this is diagonal across, and it's pretty close. I'd say it's in a foot or two of being correct. You go from market to market to churches. All of them are churches or problems with all 3 areas. Bedford Market is 81 feet. Going diagonal across to there's a Baptist church, I believe, right in front of you, isn't it? And across the highway, it's 81 feet. Okay, it's 81 feet. Sunchaser Market, the realtor did this, pulled it up. He thought it was 91 feet. It's 90 feet across to it. Hall's Mill Market was 259 feet. So there's a little more distance between that. There's a restance between that and the Lutheran church there. And again, you have to worry about the others, but we've already got the distances. That's in the ballpark there. Bedford Market's 81 feet. It might be a few inches off, but it's not much. Sun Chasers Market's 91. Hall's Mill Market is 259 from churches. All of those were measured from churches. Now, when you look at that statute, it gets into other churches. I mean, if you pass it here, then it brings in the old market there, community cash market. It brings in 2 or 3 other markets. It brings in markets that could be adjacent and across from community high school, from community elementary and intermediate school, certainly both schools at Cascade and also Liberty. And that's as much concern as any. And I guarantee you we don't want markets selling beer or certainly not open container with a bar and grill at any of those places close to schools. And 2 years ago, I checked on the buses. There's 75 bus routes in this county. And they make 2 routes. They make a morning run, AM, and a PM afternoon run. And those buses, I don't know how many go by these markets or not, but they do go by some of the others that it could affect. So we've got to think about this. These 18 commissioners have got to consider all of the county, not just 3 markets. And it does involve the schools, and there's a couple of markets that's butted right up to schools. And if they can check one box and the other box, then that could be a very critical problem. Now, last time, Times Gazette does a church directory. Last time I got one from them was in fall of 2016. There's 131 churches listed in that one, and that's not close to all of them. I know there's a number of signatures on this petition, but if you get the churches involved, it's going to be more than that. Churches can get a number of petitions signed, and I don't know if that's important or not. I mean, the question is safety in mind. It's public health, safety, and I think there's some morals in there somewhere because it says so in the statute. So it's fine. I think we can keep discussing it. I think it's a great idea to keep discussing it and get more feedback and to get more information. And, I'm sure as Mr. Thompson already mentioned, I guarantee you get the churches involved, and particularly the Church of Christ, they'll get people sign petitions. They'll go all over the county and get them. So trust me, and this is not, we're not going to, petitions don't hold, they hold some water, but not much. You still got to be concerned with those 3 things: public health, safety, and morals. And that's where it lands for me. And we're affecting the whole. When you go to 0 distance, it affects the whole county. It's going to affect both of those schools. In community, it's going to affect 1, maybe 2 at Cascade, and could eventually affect Liberty. And I don't think any of us, coming from the school side, which I taught school for 20 years and was administrator for 14, want any type of beer sold next to schools. And that's what's going to happen if it goes to 0 property. That's not the 0 line. Okay, yes, ma'am.
To make it different way, protect the school, and still support the small businesses, encourage us to look through options for that. And secondly, are you saying, Chairman, are you saying you'd like us to bring support to the meeting next month?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just want to make sure, if you need, if there's a sense that we need to have support in this meeting.
No, I'm just saying that the churches could, they could have petitions as well. We don't need more petitions. This is, well, they can do what they want to. Okay, is it, Commissioner?
Well, I'll make a,
Just going to clarify, 143 churches as of 2026.
Okay, so we know there's a few more now.
Yeah,
Okay.
and some of those may have closed.
Okay, so
They
there's
open and close.
143. Yes, sir.
How long has the city been at 0?
I don't have a clue. You just looked up city ordinance.
Is there any major incidents or anything that happened when they moved?
I can comment, I work for the city, Parks and Rec.
Okay, yes.
Put it on an agenda agenda, nobody showed up, and that's
Mr. Chairman, I got a motion on the floor that we take this up again next month.
That'd be
That's all
good.
right.
The
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
So we need to get all the information next month and bring that back and
And we'll discuss it
and
again.
discuss it. And we can look at dropping the schools. I mean, we can do that. Like, we need to get John T. to weigh in on what doing that.
Okay, well, there I do have some announcements that, I think Saturday, the Middle Tennessee Spay and Neuter is, I think you can get vaccinations and microchip put in your pets and all that. It's right there on Union Street, so, they're having a thing. The library's having a, book sale, I think, a week from today, for Friends of the Library, having a book sale. I think that's next Tuesday on the 25th. And this month, Celebration City Car Club's gonna start their, cruise in up on the public square. And then I think the Fly Arts, some of y'all involved with Fly Arts Center, they're gonna have an indoor yard sale where they're renting out table space to sell, try to generate money to keep the Fly Arts Center open. So if you've got some sale and this and that, you may wanna look at that. I think that's the first weekend in May. That's May the 6th, so that's some of the things that are coming up in the, I mean, any other announcements or any other? Yeah, well,
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
okay.
All right, good
so
deal.
moved.
Call law enforcement committee meeting to order. We'll open up with Commissioner Boyette, prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing everyone to come here today, dear Lord, and to talk county business. We ask that you bless each and every individual that's making the decisions, and also the people that are here attending tonight, dear Lord. Please bless each and every person. Thank you for all that you've given us, dear Lord. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Roll call, we'll note the mayor out. Next on the agenda will be the approval of the March 21st, 2023 Law Enforcement Committee minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next will be the reports, and first on the list is animal control.
Hey guys, I don't have anything to add to my report. I would like to thank the sheriff's department, though, we've had some crazy calls, in the past month, and, they've responded very quickly and assisted us, so they've saved our butts a couple times, but I wanted to thank them for that. You guys have any questions?
Look it up, maybe if you would make that a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
And I'm working, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We're just talking about, it's,
Small.
A little small,
print.
sorry, yeah, I will.
I didn't want to admit that I'm wearing contacts and I still can't see it.
A
Okay.
magnifying glass.
I'm like
It's a
this.
little blurry there, I'm not real sure why
That's
they did
okay,
that.
that's all right.
I'll make it bigger.
There you go.
The running at large looks like, 1, see, it's the 19.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's all right.
All
I
right,
will make sure it's bigger and
Okay.
probably flip the other way.
thank you.
And we don't have to go to a 5-page report.
Oh,
Make it
no.
that big where I can,
I think I'll just flip it the
it
other
wouldn't,
way.
see, it wouldn't
Yeah,
surprise me
that'd
if you
be
brought
good.
me something like that on a poster board and said, can you see this? All right. Any other comments or questions for animal control? Hearing none, we'll move to the sheriff's report.
Okay, and I do have the jail administrator as well as on the report, I know y'all got this, but I still like to bring up the fact that we patrolled in the month of March, over 71,000 miles, served 788 warrants, 112 arrests, processed 402 for each bill, as well as 274 investigations. The drug task force, had 18 in March, had 18 investigations. I'm not sure this is the way the figures given out. It looks like 309. It's either $309 or $30,900. Got his dollar mark in 2 years later. 2 firearms. Marijuana, crystal meth, powder cocaine, crack cocaine, 181 doses of prescription medication, most containing fentanyl, heroin, fentanyl. The agency investigated 14 previously convicted felons, 6 of whom are out on supervised felony parole probation. 3 defendants were out on bond at the time of the most recent incident. In the courtroom, for the month of March, there was actually 1,612 that were on the docket, and there were 5,163 that actually were in there for some reason or another, whether it was a spectator or somebody's business. That doesn't include us. Other than that.
Visitors.
You want to hear the jail report? Do you have a report for us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We had 24 workers go out and put in 768 hours, and that totaled up to be $42,008 saved.
May I have that total one more time? I apologize. Work-
$43,008.
How many hours? 768?
Yes, sir.
It's the hour, per hour.
Are you figuring like $12, $15 an hour or
It's $14 an hour.
14? Okay.
$14 an hour.
We was doing $10 an hour, but.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fair market.
No,
Yes, sir.
$14.
All right, is there any other questions for the sheriff?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So, Sheriff, just curious, are you all staffed up in regards to patrol officers, just across the board in the jail system? What's it look like from a staffing standpoint? Are y'all,
In the sheriff's department, patrol, I think we're short one officer.
but not for sure, not 100% sure, just possibly short one officer on patrol?
We got one, he's in the process.
In the jail system, as far as fully staffed there?
We 13.
13 short. So 46 total is the amount that you need, 13 short, is that what you're saying?
Well, honestly, the way, ever since we moved into the new facility, that's a little better. We were running for a little while, at just over 50%, and, we just put a few people there, we were working there. We have people working, 11, 12 days, 14, just trying to keep, somebody there. So it's improved, but still has a ways to go.
Is there any hope in sight, I mean, for the 13?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I hope so. We went on, starting, and actually, before the beginning of the year, we actually went on a hiring freeze for a lot of our focus in that area, and brought a lot of people in the door. I mean, sometimes, we struggle because of other ways to pay. Sometimes the quality applicants that we would like to have. But we've got some good ones over there, and they're starting to get experience. A lot faster than normally would.
I guess one more question, it's a hot button and rightfully so, but in regards to additional SROs, I know that we're gonna hopefully soon be able to accommodate. I know that y'all are doing some extra work to make sure that all the schools are taken care of, and I actually commend you for that. I know that there's a lot of people that are, quite frankly, I know there's a lot of people that's sacrificing a little bit of family time to make sure that and I absolutely say thank you. 100%, and that's a big deal. But I guess one of the questions that I have, and it may be too lengthy of a discussion, but is there any planning already kind of in place to start to look at when we are able to bring those extra officers into the schools? I mean, is that going to be a quick turnaround type thing, or is it going to be and I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're not putting me on the spot at all. I'm just sure on that. I did, you probably did a better job than me, but yeah, there's definitely a plan. I mean, there's a process.
Yes, sir.
That we have to go through. I think it's something maybe a lot of people may not realize. You gotta hire them, you have to go through all the steps, you got to obviously do them train, then you have to go through extra training for SRO. Unless you're able to hire a certified officer, but that's a whole lot. Yeah, they've got to have equipment, they've got to have cars, radios, bulletproof vests, everything that everybody else has got, and needs more training. So it's
Just-
that state sheriff meeting in Franklin a couple of weeks ago, Governor Lee was actually there one day. He's pushing hard and working hard, and everybody knows they set quite a bit of money aside. But right now, I've never been here, and this is no swing towards anybody. It's just you, it's quick,
Yes, sir.
and don't know exactly how it's right now it's going to take place. I do know they're going to start with counties that don't have any SRO. Maybe don't have but one on SRO. And I guess work their way up from there. I think the good part is, and I told you, I think you thought I had spoken, but I know that's what they told me. The good part is this will be a reoccurring timeframe and you take it from here.
Yes.
So that's good, but right now, we don't know, include Winkle and probably the sheriff department in the state, exactly how much or what we're gonna get.
Yes.
Let me ask a question. So, just a ballpark, if you just hired someone that was not in law enforcement, how long would it take to get them all the training ready to go out the door? What do you think? A couple of months?
Best case scenario, 6 months.
Oh, 6 months.
That's a very period.
I would say if we had to average it.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is, obviously it's not a job you can just hire somebody to put them out there.
Right.
But, I mean, we have a 14-week training program just in the sheriff's office. They have 12 weeks in the academy. And we don't get to pick that start date. So when they get hired, we do their, post paperwork, we send it in, and that basically enters them into the portal.
Right.
And then the state, whenever they have a slot open in the academy, they notify us this person will start on whatever date. We've been lucky before. We had one actually not long ago that just because of the timing of the hiring, he was in the academy within 2 months of the start date. We've had others that, they got hired right before a 12-week class started, and they'd already filled up a class after that. So, we've had others that took several months before we could get them in the academy. And obviously, until they pass the FBO, they can't be by themselves. Until they took the academy, they can't pass FBO. So,
Yeah.
so it can be a
To play devil's advocate, when this takes place, Bedford County is not gonna be the only county
Right.
hiring new officers, the whole state is. That's gonna jam up probably the training. I hate to be negative, but I
No.
just state the fact.
I would think
But we will certainly do everything we can to get them out there as quickly as possible in the school. And then there's another part that plays in
Yeah.
this. I've heard armed security, and I'm kind of puzzled about that. I've heard that would happen, heard that wouldn't happen. I would think most schools would want a certified law enforcement officer.
I do know that was included in the governor's plan, it has to be a certified officer, as long as it's qualified for that.
Correct, I read that too.
Another snowball effect is some of your guys could jump over and want to do SRO, and then,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
And I'll tell you another thing, and we've been talking about this,
yeah.
I've been at 22 years, I can never remember hiring 8, 9 people, or
Right.
whatever it is at one time. And again, I have to go through that FTO process, the field training process, and I've got enough officers that
Right.
field training. So trying to figure out how exactly, we're gonna make that work. We'd love to have experienced officers, because as an SRO, you're kind of the chief of your own city, right there.
Right.
You're kind of on an island.
Yeah.
In there, so we'd love to have somebody that has some experience on patrol, but, we do try.
Oh.
Thank you for taking our questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr.
Any further questions? Drew, did you get?
No, it was
Okay.
not the sheriff, I just didn't know if there was some communication with the state to maybe add some additional classes or things. Because it seems like a lot of people need to go to the academy, if every county's trying to hire 5 or 10 SROs,
There is more than just the Tennessee law enforcement. One actually, Blunt County, there's a training academy, there's, Walton State, Cleveland State, maybe, I don't know if we really have a community college to do it or not, but I guess we'll be, and I hear everybody else will too, grasping for even smaller than that.
But I understand this money is in the state budget to be approved. Hadn't been approved yet, correct?
That's my understanding, Sue,
Okay.
but I don't know who's gonna get what.
Well, yeah,
They
yeah.
told us they were gonna start with the county. They had their
Okay,
fewest.
the fewest.
Some of them don't have any. So I figure we'll, when I figure out today, but we'll probably be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be at the bottom, but we'll stop here.
Any further questions? Hearing none, EMA report, I don't think they're here, but their report is enclosed in your thing. They are actually in a class this week. Juvenile detention.
I don't have anything additional to add to my report that I turned in. The only thing I've noted that we did a study session last Tuesday night, and I have another study session for next school commission meeting, to talk about
And I know there was a lot of us there, and some of them may not have been, but that's very good information that we need to know from our juvenile detention. That next meeting, like I say, it's 6 o'clock before our next commission meeting.
What's that, May
And-
9th?
In May, and that, it'll be in here. And if you didn't get the handout, Rick, does the mayor's office still have those handouts that she handed out that night?
We have a few extra meetings.
Okay, yeah, there's some good information in there. Any questions for juvenile detention? All right, hearing none, next is probation.
One thing I have to add on, we have partnered with, they'll be coming down next Monday to, Sussex parking lot. We're gonna have our clients, computer courses, GED classes, teaching how to write resumes. We even have job offers. So we're trying to do a little bit more to maybe get our clients to get jobs.
What was the company? I didn't hear it.
Goodwill.
Goodwill, yes.
It's the one I'm working on.
Yes. Okay.
This is our first event with them, and we're hoping to possibly.
Chris and
Okay. So you mentioned they'll be doing GED programs. Is this something they're gonna do like once or twice a week, or get them involved in a program where that's offered? Or
They have flyers handed out. You go to the website, and they have lots of programs. They have project management programs. They have different certified technical school programs. They have lots of information. Yes, is to introduce themselves to the clients and give them information, how they can reach out. And they also said that, they feel a lot of people interested, and they'll see what they can do to possibly come down once a week and do classes too. So, and it's all, no cost to
But that comes through, it's a shared grant with another agency. Yeah,
They have a state grant.
yes, yes.
They even mentioned they have something else possible. But,
Correct.
maybe an offer
Right.
any other questions?
Just a quick question. In regards to it says 161 drug screens administered, 42 failures. Is that an uptick? Is that, what, is it low? What do you contribute to the lower number? Thank you for taking the question.
Any further questions? Hearing none, we will need a motion to approve the report as presented.
I make that motion.
A motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any other reports? Old business? New business? Motion to adjourn.
Adam Thomas to open us in prayer.
Let's pray. Dear most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have blessed us with, Lord. Thank you for letting us gather here together freely, Lord. I pray you will bless our decisions, Lord. Let us make wise ones, Lord, and I pray you will guide us in the direction you want us to go. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, all of everybody's present except for our chairperson, Julie Sanders. She's enjoying Mexico, I guess. I'm jealous of her, so. All right, so our first item is to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
All right, passes. All righty, our first report is the planning and zoning report. See, Chris, you still here? Anything you'd like to add to this, or?
time we hire a new person, it takes 6 months for us to build this position, and then so it's just evolving, you know. And so this will be very intuitive, and not only intuitive for us when we in our staff are doing it, but intuitive for everyone.
Any questions for Chris?
Chris, Blake, we had a discussion last week about that impact fee. When you're building, and you have school children in the household, is that for that purpose, that impact fee that they pay for building their home? Do they pay for that, those children? Is that kind of a drawback on the fee, or?
Not exactly, I mean, the adequate facility tax.
Okay.
You know, back when the legislature created basically two different types of options for counties, and some things don't do it, some things counties. But there were two different options, impact fees, that directly impact one thing or another, and adequate facility taxes that cover the expenses or costs to provide additional services to people moving into the community.
Right.
This county chose to have a facility tax, we call it the Bedford County School Facility Tax, because the county commission at the time decided to put all that money for debt service and facilities. So that's kind of the history of that. It affects all new construction, and it also affects addition construction with the addition to the bedroom. If somebody asks for a permit to expand a kitchen, that tax is not levied. So if somebody asks for a permit to expand yet another bedroom, then you charge that. But if it's new construction, the whole thing, the entire square footage of the
How much is that fee, or?
$1 square foot.
Didn't the legislature set that at
Dollar set it at a maximum of $1, the legislature set it at a maximum of $1.
Okay.
To start off with, and then there's a metric in the law, if you ever want to raise it, you have to have a certain amount of growth in a certain period of time. We've never met that metric.
Okay.
We're not in a position to raise it, we're at the maximum.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Could you give us a little bit of, and I hate to have you continue to have to stand up and talk, but an update on the planning of the changes of the resolution document, where we're at with that, and kind of the focus? I know we did flag lots last month, where we're at now.
Yeah, you should have two more headed to, I thought it was going to be on the ninth agenda. I have a big package for the planning commission for subregs next week. For the planning commission, there'll be quite a few items. Planning commission has the sole jurisdiction on the subregs, a little different than the zoning resolution. So, but as a result of it not going to the legislative body, the public notice is long, 30 days rather than 10. So it's a little cumbersome to do these. So I put a bunch in one week package. But it won't be things like what you're looking for, like as far as like the plan development. All that stuff is going to be.
Gotcha.
These are going to be things like how wide the road is going to be, what kind of ditch, how the ditch is going to have pipe in, or take in, you know, all of kind of things like that.
Now, I know Mark had some concerns about road widening. Are we gonna widen the roads and some of the new ones?
On average, about 2 feet per road height, different classifications, different roads, you know, highways and major thoroughfares, there's collector streets, minor streets, there's rural streets. And then, you know, so each, you know, about on average, you know, looking at it, they're about 2 foot wider than each one. Unless it's a curb and gutter road, it's more than that. So there's different classifications depending on that road.
Thank you for that. Anybody else? All righty, the next one is the codes department.
I guess I'll add on to what Chris said, you asked about the facility tax on this active collective liability group now list. And on the second page of the report, you'll see the growth on the fourth line down. You'll see the growth over the last 6 years into this facility tax. Now, that is not collected necessarily when you give it in the list. They are given 4 years from the date that they go on it to pay that tax.
All right, thank you. All right, the next is IT department. You know I'm gonna ask, where are you at in your office?
No change.
Okay. Still hanging out in another room, huh? All right, any questions? All right, thank you, Josh. All righty, fire department.
Copy of my report. We won't go backwards on it. And I will tell you, yes, we lost the engine in our first responder truck. And replaced the motor. So, about $12,000. Spending money around the budget to get that done. And down over local decent mechanic to work for the decent line item. Instead of going to the big ship. And so it's about half. Whatever it costs us to replace this motor, but it is a 2008 model truck. And those big motors that they put in those trucks down here,
Lacking.
Yeah. We ain't doing that mess at all, have we?
No.
All right, any questions for Marty? All right, thank you. You have the 911 report enclosed. Any questions on that one? Move forward. All right, and GIS.
Well, a couple of things to add to the written report. For last week's commission meeting and tonight's meeting, for the first time ever, we put the packets up on the website, the document packets. And so I think that's a service to the citizens, we need to roll that out. That they can not only see the agenda, but they can actually see the, the kind of the supporting documents and minutes and things like that. Also worked on the county clerk's office, wanted a separate page for passport information. They've been doing a lot of business, a lot of passport business, including a lot of so we added a separate page under their part of the website.
Thank you for putting all that online, because I think it's really important for the citizens to see all of the information that we're getting, especially if they're following along online and they're just watching it on YouTube. They can actually follow along with the agenda, look through the papers we're looking through. So I appreciate you doing that.
Well, I can't take credit for it, it's the mayor's office was able to start making that, and that's in preparation for some of the software that they're implementing, that we can hopefully make that a little more streamlined.
All right, thank you so much. All right, that's all of our reports. Can I get a motion to approve the reports?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and second. Everybody, are all in favor? Any opposed? All right, that passes. All right. All right, let's see. We don't have any other reports. Under old business, we have juvenile detention. I know we had a study session last Tuesday with some information.
Another one this month, or
Another
next
one,
month.
yeah, another one. I think that's the 9th. Is that right?
6
Okay.
o'clock.
All right. One of the things that I do want to kind of bring up with that, that was brought up during the meeting, but something that we need to at least kind of bring up as a potential hurdle of this, is the impact on the school system. Evidently, these the out-of-town new individuals to the system, they are actually getting counted in the test scores of our local school system. So if they come in, they have to be enrolled in school. It's a state law. Once they're enrolled, then their test numbers affect our county numbers. And so I think I'm going to ask Dr. Garrett to put together. Oh, yes. No, and I don't know enough about it I know that came up in the meeting, and I just want to make sure that we get the right information for next meeting. Okay. All right, no. And I did, because she did make a mention of it, and I wanted to make sure that we, see if we can get her to create a report, or at least give us some data, as we go into that next meeting, that we can actually have a conversation about that specific issue.
Yes, it's clear, we've got three options. Option one is we got, option two is we build a new facility, option three, we do transportation. I think we're pretty clear on what the cost was, we discussed that, $3 to $7 million, we don't even have the bonding capability to build anything, we don't know, if we do, it's gonna be a small amount. So somebody has got to really hone in on that transportation number to see what that actual cost is. Because if that's gonna be an option, we gotta weigh in, we gotta have a court system weigh in, because they're a third of the government. And so there's the chancellors and the whole court system carries a heavy load with it. So before we come to our meeting, I hope somebody will take that number, blow by the horn and see if it's going to be a solid number, because I don't know what it is right now.
Well, I'll try to reach out to Lori Schuler at the finance office, because I know she compiled a lot of those numbers. And I'll ask her specifically about the transportation aspect of it, in regards to kind of how that, I know it was in that report. I just maybe kind of let her expand upon that and maybe be present.
Take it as, not that you're advocating it, just take a solid look at that and see what you see on there, so we at least have something to digest on there. I'm not saying take a position either way, just help us understand where they're coming from on the transport, what the sheriff's department thinks about that, what the court system, I mean, this thing can turn sideways on us, especially if in fact there's ever anything brought up out of that juvenile center down here, or DCS.
Well, and I think it's going to be important for us to have the right people at this next study session, and I'll ask Robert to have both him and Lori here, because I think their piece is a huge part of this, and they need to be there to be able to answer questions. So thank you for that. Anybody else? All right, again, that study session will be next month, second Tuesday, right before the commission meeting at 6 o'clock in this room. Just because I'll plug it, is the homeless task force right before that at 5. You're welcome to come. All right, so moving on to number 9, which is request for donation of the Talbot House of the building currently housing surplus. Don't see her here. I would like to, if we could, defer that 30 days, just to give us some more time to gather data, have some conversation, and I really think that the juvenile detention issue needs to be resolved before we really go down this road. Is anybody opposed to that?
No, I agree.
All right, could I get a,
Just a question, did she get her building folks to go through there yet?
I have not heard
Anybody
anything.
heard?
All right, well,
My question is, did she ever think that she could?
No, we gave her permission.
we
to do
did,
that.
she did request that, and we did give her that authority. Just work with the mayor's office to schedule that. All righty, so I guess we'll need a motion to defer that.
Motion to defer.
All right, do I have a second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, it passes, deferred to the next meeting. All right, no new business, or does anybody have any new business? All righty, we've already gave most of the announcements. Again, that the juvenile detention meeting the second Tuesday of next month at 6 o'clock in this room, and a motion to adjourn.